1, 2, 3.
Hello and welcome to my channel Florist Patch Painting. I'm Sandrine Maugy and today I'm going to show you the second part of the sunflower demonstration, which is painting the petals. Now before I start, somebody suggested, thank you Sally, that I show you an image of the painting at the end of the demonstration, what we're aiming for. So this is a sunflower with all the painted petals, and at the end of the video this is where we'll be. Okay, let's start. So this is where we were at the end of part 1. All the shadows are done and now I'm going to paint yellow on top of all the petals. What I'm doing here is erasing as many of the transfer lines as I can. With some paints you can paint over pencil lines and still erase them afterwards. With some paints you can't. And unfortunately most of the yellows, which is where you would want to erase because you can see through yellow, most yellows you can't erase through them, so you need to erase as many lines as soon as you can. So I'm going to start the wet in wet painting of my yellows. Now remember, because the shadows have been done first, you can only use transparent colors on top of that. If you start using opaque colors such as cadmium yellows or Naples yellow or even some of the lemons like lemon yellow by Winsor & Newton, you're going to hide all the shadows with your opaque colors, and there's no point spending hours painting shadows if you're going to hide them and lose all the work that you've done before. So the yellows I'm using here are lemon yellow by Rowney, which is very transparent, very bright, beautiful lemon. I'm also using, the one now is permanent yellow, which I'm dropping in the lemon while the lemon is still wet, and that is the brightest yellow. It's pure buttercup. It's a gorgeous yellow, and Rowney are the only ones to use that particular pigment, apart from Daniel Smith, who have done a limited edition. They're actually using the real name of the pigment. It's called Quinophthalone yellow, but it's a limited edition, so I don't know how long it's going to be available for, and apparently it's only available in America. It's not available in Europe. The third yellow I'm dropping in here is new Gamboge, and I'm using more of that, as you can see, towards the center of the sunflower. Now it's Winsor orange to go even more orange than the Gamboge yellow, because sunflowers have got a sort of flush around the base of the petals, and that's darker than the rest of the petals. So adding some orange here. Winsor orange is a very good pure clean orange. Now we're going to accelerate again because I'm going to do the same on quite a few petals, starting with lemon, adding permanent yellow, and then you can see the Gamboge here, which I'm also adding along the veins to try to add a little bit of depth in the veins. The way I work my washes, as you can see here, when I mix my colours, I don't actually mix the colours in the palette. All the colours you can see in the little wells in the palette there are completely pure colours. I've got my lemon, I've got my permanent yellow, I've got my new Gamboge, I've got my Winsor orange, and they're not mixed together at all. I actually mix them straight on the paper, wet in wet, so they blend into each other in their wet wash, but they don't completely mix. So that means that I've got a huge variety of yellows in my sunflower, but then it's not a flat colour. It's completely, it varies just from one little bit to another little bit, and it stops the painting looking flat because there are varied yellows, there's loads of them, instead of being one yellow that is made by mixing loads of yellows together. As far as the order in which I'm painting the petals is concerned, I quite like to start with a petal at the back because, again, with wet in wet, everything's a bit unpredictable, and depending on the temperature, on the humidity in the air, on the level of light, if the sun is shining on your painting as you're painting, you don't know how long it's going to take for your washes to dry. You don't know how long you have to work your paint in the water before it starts drying and making a mess. So by starting with a petal at back, I make sure that I can experiment on a couple of petals that are not right in front of you, so if I mess them up a little bit, it's going to show a lot less than if I start with that great big one at the front here, or the one I'm working on now. And these drying conditions are going to change all the time, even as I am painting. This morning it was raining and the washes were taking ages to dry, and I had loads of time to work my paint. But this afternoon it's gone quite sunny and dry, so I've got to work more quickly. So I'm getting towards the end here. I've got my first wash on every petal. There's yellow on all the petals. I'm working my second and third washes, strengthening the little orange flushes at the base, strengthening the veins, just adding a bit more detail, a bit more depth in where it needs it. It doesn't necessarily need it in all the petals. It depends the amount of paint I've put on my first wash. Some of the petals were already quite complete with the first wash. But you can see here that orange flush at the base of the petals is getting stronger all over, all around the base. And the veins also are showing more. And there we go, we've got yellows on our sunflower petals. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you for part 3, which is putting some green on the foliage. Thank you, bye!